Hello, my name's Hamish Kilburn, the editor of Hotel Designs. You're watching Hotel Designs live on demand. This session was broadcasted on the 11th of May 2021, and the sessions were lifestyle, bathrooms, art, and workspace. Enjoy. Welcome back to Hotel Designs Live with me, Hamish Kilburn, the editor of Hotel Designs. So before the break, we set the scene for the rest of the day's conversations by exploring the new era of lifestyle. Now, in this exclusive panel discussion, we're going to hone in on one area in particular that takes on a new role in what is arguably a new chapter in wellness, the bathroom. This session is sponsored by Grower, which is a leader in sustainability, bathroom product design and innovation. Having had a snapshot of what to expect next from the brand, I can safely say that Grower is looking at the sensory experience when it comes to bathroom design to ensure that it's being perceived beyond purely a practical element in hotel design. We'll be hearing from the brand's Carl Lennon a little bit later on to understand more about their latest launch of Grower X, which is a new platform for the A&D community that I recently hosted 2 panel discussions on, which I have to say was a huge honor. Okay, so I'm joined by world-renowned designers to help me explore bathrooms in all colors, shapes, sizes to ultimately establish trends and major talking points for wellness spaces in 2021 and beyond. So let's meet our panel. We have Gabrielle from Marcel Wonders. We have Nick Hickson from Creative Director and partner of THDP, and Christos Passas, Director at Zaha Hadid Architects. Welcome, everyone.
Hello, Amish. Welcome.
How are we all doing?
Very good.
Good morning.
Hello, Nick. Hello,
Fantastic.
Christos.
Hi guys, how are you all?
In the previous Hotel Designs live events, we've established that this era of wellness in 2021 is going to inject wellness in other areas of the hotel and not specifically sort of be centered around the spa, for example. So I'm interested to understand, considering wellness trends, how that's allowing bathrooms to become more than practical spaces. I don't know who wants to start. Perhaps we can start with you, Nick, and then work our way around.
Hi Hamish. I think, THTP over the last 10 years has worked with a variety of brands, Hilton, Marriott and Intercontinental in particular. And we've been involved generally working in Europe on refurbishments and some new builds. I think the first point I would make is that refurbishment of properties, or certainly with bathroom areas in particular, has a certain cost, and with GMs in particular, there's always a reluctance to refurbish these areas. So when they do, they really need to maximize the potential, and they're almost seen nowadays as delivering really more of a qualitative experience for the guests. By opening them up and breaking down the walls and rearranging the room in such a way that you're really making the best use of every square meter of space. I mean, generally in Europe in particular, the guest rooms are very small and smaller than, say, in the Middle East, for example. And therefore, every area, every small square centimeter of space is really maximized for each particular room. So I would say the first thing is that the first sense that you have in most refurbishments is the generous amount of space that's given over to these areas.
So would you say that clients are putting more emphasis, certainly when it comes to the budget, on bathrooms than they were, say, a couple of years ago?
Yeah, and I think there are new products available as well, which kind of explore those areas, moving from chrome to PVD finishes, moving from plain ceramic colors into other new dynamic finishes. I think, producers, manufacturers, as well as brands are looking at kind of re-energizing these spaces and making them something new and invigorating. I mean, guests in particular have become more picky, more choosy, more experienced. They travel more, they see more, and not just they want to enjoy those spaces in a hotel, but they also want to take them home And I think this is where, you know, brands can tend to double up really in terms of selling their product, not only to hotels, but also onto end users, because people want to take these things home with them.
Interesting. Christos, so you're the director of Zaha Hadid Architects, and obviously you've worked on an incredible hotel recently that we've shouted about from the rooftops, Hotel Designs. Most recently, you were on our podcast, Design Pod, where we looked at architecture beyond boundaries. Would you say bathrooms are at a time now where boundaries are able to be broken in the bathroom?
I think so. In the past few years, we've seen a lot of, traditional, typologies of spaces being transformed into something else, into much more open, much more anticipatory, I would say, spaces. And I think the bathroom, within the realm of the wellness, attempts that are being made, I think is changing drastically as well. It's not just the technology that the taps and the faucets and the temperature control and the flow of the water and the way that you can create mist and vapor inside the bathroom that are beginning to offer new possibilities. But I think it's like what Nick was saying earlier, is that there is so much research going into how things are being made. I think a lot of companies are interested in designing bespoke items for the bathrooms that create very kind of unique experiences. And I think that's what's interesting now, that designers and fabricators can come together and create a beautiful new sets and experiences for these spaces.
Yeah, I think it's very much based around experience, and it's that experience flowing from one area to the other. Obviously, with one of your projects, the Opus and the Me Hotel, the Me Dubai, and that very much is the case, where the design naturally flows into the bathroom. Gabrielle Caiva, so everyone knows Marcel Wonder Studios, but
sorry, I lost you. Sorry,
can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Brilliant. Could you hear me all along, Nick?
No.
Okay,
just the last sentence.
We love technology at Hotel Designs. We love it when it goes wrong, and we love trying to sort it all out when it does.
This is why we're all desperate to get back into the office, Hamish.
I think so.
Because where I am, so
you'll
have to forgive my background noise occasionally, because I'm in the office and I'm happy to be here, I have to say.
No, that's absolutely fine. We're going to hear back from Gabrielle hopefully in a minute. My question really was leading on. Gabrielle, are you there?
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
Worries at all.
The connection went off, but that's
absolutely fine. Gabrielle, maybe you can pick up the conversation for us. I just wanted to establish what your role was at Marcel Wonder Studio, because everyone knows Marcel Wonders and he's a very big personality, but you very much work behind the scenes as well to really establish these new bathroom designs and other designs as well.
Well, as you know, I'm since with Marcel since 14 years. I'm creative director with him, and the special things, of course, of our studio is that we're both creative director, and we also oversee all the interior design projects we do, the product design that we do, and our direction. So it's all very interconnected. And as you know, well, of course, as the interior design and bathroom we design for hotels, but we also, of course, do a lot of designs also for collections and for clients and for lately for Laufen. So I think sorry.
So I was just going to ask, looking at this from a brand, like a designer's perspective, you work with a number of brands when it comes to new product innovations and like the decorative element of it. Why do you think now brands have waited to look at the senses in such detail than what's clearly clearly emerging at the moment when it comes to sensory experiences in bathroom product design?
Well, I think it's the point is that bathroom has always been an area which was, as the title of this discussion, very functional, very organized, very, but it's something that in the last years, but not the last years only, also how we do design things. We are rational people. We're not rational people only. We're also irrational. It means that also the spaces that we have to design for people, the object needs to speak to a function level, but also needs to speak to our soul, needs to speak to the people in a different level. So I think the fact of the transformation of bathroom, both of the residential and hospitality, of course, went more into the fact of feeding that aspect of the soul and not just of the function, because it became it's area which is the most, where we're most vulnerable, so it's the most intimate. So it needs to respond also to those matters that that reflects all our senses. That reflects also, again, the fact of responding to the soul and not just to the mind of people. I think, as you were saying now, the products are responding more and more into this kind of necessities, from, bespoke, as Chris was saying, chromotherapy, sounds, smells, and also the space itself is transforming. What we like to do also into the function of the space, beside the function of the pieces, is to maybe disrupt a bit how the bathroom has been always perceived. Of course, Nick, is difficult in interior design or hospitality because spaces are very defined and each square meters needs to be calculated. But we also like in some of our projects to disrupt this idea of having to be in the space that is only for that and only for that function. But we start putting maybe bathrooms in one side, the beauty corner in another, the shower. So really to create the function of the object and the use, interlace and integrating in a different approach of the use of the room, like we did in the Mondrian Doho, like we did in the Andes in Amsterdam. So it's not only is about products, but I think it's also about how we perceive the function of the objects of a bathroom, and how can we just reinvent them in order to really fulfill a different approach of the guest and the people, in both from an hospitality point of view than from home. Because I believe that also what people lived in hotels and experienced in hotels, and brands are responding to hotels, this helped also, of course, to bring this idea of wellness, this idea of a spa in our own homes, which I think is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, when we talk about taking bathrooms beyond practical spaces and injecting personality in bathrooms, it's we could have the best will in the world, but we're somewhat restricted to the regulations. So Nick, when it comes to designing these spaces to add personality, what are the major sort of challenges that you face in order to make them different and stand out, but also function just as well as they would if they were, these typical traditional bathrooms?
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with Gabriele. I mean, as you say, I mean, we start from essentially the guest experience, and what is it that the guest needs or wants or is looking for in a guest room experience, and some of that is actually starting with the function and the design of the room from its core. So the lobby element, for example, this has become far more animated in recent years. Guests now are activated to actually go into the lobby, to work, to meet, to join other people, to socialize. And this is also reflected in the guest room layout and design. So like Gabriele said, we always look for alternatives and solutions for animating these spaces in other ways. And as you say, we're kind of breaking down that fourth wall of the bathroom area, with a sense of privacy, with a sense of animation, trying to create a novel and interesting space. People don't use the guest rooms as they've done before. So, even just looking at the bathroom experience, we have to look at the actual experience of sleeping, of working, of socializing. And all of those things are pressing demands as a designer. And it starts, with minimizing the desk space, for example. People don't work in the rooms in the way that they used to several years ago. So the desk can become smaller. It can become a coffee table. If you are going to work, you maybe sit using an iPad, for example. So all of these things have an effect of breaking down the spaces and the function of the room, and they kind of have this disruptive element. And in particular, I guess, because we've moved from a period of design several years ago where things were very minimal, very quiet, and now we're looking at designs and objects which are more precious, which are more individual, and say more to the guests. These are the things that the guests want to be spoken to be activated as such. So as a designer, we're always looking for products and for items which add to that language of visual design, really.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And Christos, I mean, we on our podcast recently, which was so wonderful. You were talking about how some of your designs and some of your conversations with clients go way off track on a different tangent entirely. I'm quite interested to understand whether bathroom design has ever cropped up in those conversations, and how crazy some of the ideas have been that have been sheltered in the studios that haven't quite made it into a project yet. Christos, you're on mute, just FYI.
Yes, as always. Sorry about that again.
No worries.
So I do, the whole point of this conversation is that we're moving from the space of ergonomics, the Neufert type of space of 60, 70 years ago, into a space of pleasure. And I don't mean pleasure in the extreme hedonistic sense, but I mean a pleasure where you take time off from your day to re-energize, to balance your mind and your body. And the ancient Greeks often said a healthy mind in a healthy body, and vice versa. So I think the bathroom offers exactly that balance, where you go out into the world, you work hard, you kind of do what you do, but then when you come back, it's that space of privacy. And Virginia Woolf wrote about that, a room of one's own. But at the same time, I think it is the space where you kind of rebalance your energies. And I think as such, the space of the bathroom, I agree, it doesn't need to be. And I enjoy when colleagues and ourselves are experimenting with these notions, where to put what. I remember going into Gropius's Bauhaus student apartment block once, and every bedroom had a wash basin, and a mirror, and people shared bathrooms in a different area, but everybody had that kind of mini element inside their bedroom. I thought, how interesting. I mean, this is already in the 1930s, right? And it gives you that sense of rethinking the standard and seeing how to escape that standard now, and by finding new, ways, combinations, new elements of enjoyment inside the spaces. So, we depending on the setup. I mean, a hotel is certainly a different thing than working on a luxury bungalow, on a seaside resort. Is a different way when you think about the bathroom at home. It's a different thing when you think about a kind of the public baths, but they're all kind of interrelated in some way. The Romans were very big on this, as you know, and I think bringing some of the pleasure of going back to our, and our natural senses are very much interlinked with the idea of water. It's not that we have a lot of water inside us, but I think certain evolutionary theories, they also suggested that we came out of the water to inhabit land, right? So I think having that sense and the sensation of water, which I always find, both philosophically but also on a very corporal level, incredible to think how we engage with water as a sense, sensuality, and an experience. I think it's very interesting to start thinking about and to share experiences with people who are in the industry and pushing things forward. So, water comes in many forms. All that preamble to say that water comes in many forms. It can be very hot, or it can be very cold. So it can go from icy water, ice, all the way through to medium ranges of temperature, all the way to what you engage in a sauna or in a hammam, where you have mist and steam. And I think a bathroom should have those three type of spaces inside, temperature spaces. They are all about temperature spaces, and I think it's interesting when we begin to consider what we can do within a bathroom. That is not necessarily so strict and ergonomic and Neuferdian anymore, but actually break it up into the sets of experiences where you can share the bathroom with a partner, you can share the bathroom with your children, it becomes a play space, it becomes a place of, as I said, a kind of a private or maybe even a not so private space, depending on the occasion. But I think where you begin to enjoy those moments of intimacy or like personal pleasure with yourself or with others. I think that's
and Christos, tell us a bit more about the Opus, because it's the first hotel project, I believe, that you were the interior designers and the architects as well. And it shelters a rather interesting design narrative when it comes to the bathroom, with that fluidity from the guest rooms into the bathroom. Tell us a bit more about the conversations and the solutions you came up with for that space.
Yeah, so the conversation with Nokia and Porcelanosa, and the client who were the team behind this really wonderful project, revolved around how do we deal with cultural preoccupations in the Middle East, the separation between men and women in some cases, but also the idea of people's personal sense of privacy. When you're in the shower, or when you're in the bathtub, or when you're washing, shaving, the beauty corner, etc. And I think what we came up with, and we've done only so much in one project, but we've explored a lot of angles to it, how the water flows, and how we could create objects in essence that were able to have a tangibility, a kind of the pleasure of tangibility of the wash basin, for example, the way you even clean it, like mundane tasks, the way you can easily in one swoop kind of clean the whole wash basin without having to worry about water splashing, and doing the same in the bathtub. I think were some of the detailed considerations that we discussed. But essentially, all the objects came out of a notion of being sort of derivatives or transformations, like seashells that are always kind of evolved to hold water inside. And the way the water is shaped and formed within that function of during the washing, I think is something that we took very kind of a very detailed look on. So, for example, the shower is developed as a water lily. So it has a very big kind of rain dish on top. And the whole idea was that you don't only, cover the head when you're washing, but your whole body gets rained on when you're in that shower, and it has very precise temperature controls. We spoke about the idea of digitizing those, so you can either speak to the device, or you can control it with a kind of a sensorial touch. So that you can touch, you can adjust the temperature. The bathtubs have overflows, so it feels like you're in a different type of environment rather than something that makes more noise. So the way you hear the water when you're in the bathtub also makes a lot of difference. It's not just about filling the bathtub; it's about the whole experience of the water falling that we felt was also quite important. So if you start thinking about the way you touch, about the way you feel, the way you hear, the colors that you see within the bathroom, you're already engaging someone in a kind of a holistic and an immersive experience. And I think what we as designers do is to try to help people to relax when they get into that space, to create spaces of rebalancing energy, and to create a sense of wellness that you don't get in any other part of the hotel, basically. Especially when you have your own kind of facility in the suite.
I think it's fascinating, the whole topic of this, well, the title of this topic is Bathrooms Beyond Practical Spaces, yet you've managed to create a very creative solution in a very practical manner. Everything, all your decisions are very practical, but also have a creative edge to them, which I think really works in that space for sure. Nick, so you work in the wellness arena, and you work on a few projects recently that really stand out, one of which is the DoubleTree in Rome. The other one, you didn't think I was going to say it, but I'm going to, is Terme di Saturnia. Please forgive me if I pronunciations.
Terme di Saturnia.
There we go.
I'll try it for you. See, Gabriella being Italian, Gabriele being Italian.
It's embarrassing, isn't it?
Well, it's
Perfect,
okay.
guys. Was perfect.
But my point is, Nick, is that hotel in particular is actually based on natural springs. So it's naturally evokes wellness. What challenges do you then come across when you're creating the bathrooms, which also have to evoke wellness, but have to be really sensitive to the location? How did you balance that?
I guess there's two aspects to that. I mean, one is the historical context of the space. And as you say, the Dominator Saturn natural destination is based and formed around a natural spring, which is producing hot water, 36 degrees. It has hydrogen sulfide actually bubbling through it, and it creates this huge vasca, huge pool area of this dark green liquid in which people bathe, and it has really restorative properties, and historically has been used since early Roman times. So the hotel was built, and as I said, we actually carried out the refurbishment this year and last year of a property that was previously built by an architectural studio in Rome. One of the challenges we have, obviously refurbishing the property, again, is the placement of the various rooms, the actual placement of the bathrooms themselves, and responding to that natural environment. So obviously, the first thing we generally look at is the materials that are prevailing in that area. And the vasca itself, the pool, has a natural travertine base to it. There's actually algae growing on this travertine, which is actually feeding off the hydrogen sulfide in the water itself. There's little bits of mold actually floating around the water, which you swim through effectively, in little tiny pieces of it. And all of these elements are kind of extremely restorative. So in essence, the bathroom itself, there was certain aspects which we wanted to kind of pick up on, one of which was the finishes. The quality of the travertine, for example, which we replicated using a ceramic finish, essentially. Again, we have a budget to work to, like many other projects. And they're making furnishings or making a vanity unit which responds to a kind of a local narrative as well. So we try to use a metalwork or metal finish which responds to a kind of a hand-beaten quality as such, rather than just using tubular steel. So again, it felt much more handmade in its quality. The actual faucets and tabs, again, we went to Grower for the product, and we use a Pvd finish. The Pvd finish in particular, which is again something which has been brought out by many manufacturers in the last 3 or 4 years, is a vapor disposition finish, which produces a color onto the metalwork, or within the metalwork, essentially. And one of the reasons that we chose that particular product or finish, was that the hydrogen sulfide, which is naturally occurring in the air, actually turns many of the chrome fittings that were existing black. It just oxidizes the chrome, essentially. So we were very wary of obviously replicating that error, because essentially when you walk into the bathrooms, to see a slightly oxidized tap is not a great start to the experience for the guest. So kind of replicating this antique brass finish and replicating that also onto the vanity unit became one of the kind of the storylines, really, of the various material finishes we want to evoke for the guest itself. But like I said, I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure working on that project, and as I said, our practice works both in the UK but largely in Italy, my partner being Italian. And that's one of the small pleasures in my life, that I get to work on such amazing projects.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned the sense of location, which became a key theme there, obviously, with the practical element of making sure that the products stood the test of time. Gabriella, I'm interested from your perspective when it comes to product design. You don't have that ability to inject the sense of location. So do you ever find it difficult to take bathroom design further with what you've got of what you're working with?
Well, as you rightly said, hotels, they have roots, they don't go anywhere. So you're able to tell the local stories and to be local, and products, they have legs, so they travel all over the world with our messages embodied. But I think in design, when we start doing designs, of course, in this realm, it's very complex project. It starts, of course, with the client, with the company. It starts with the innovation, with the material, sustainability. It starts with being very smart, because basically it's a very complex work of creating faucets and industrial ceramics and everything. But what we do in the studio and what we like is that of course, we want to be smart, we want to be industrial, we want to understand the needs of the company, the technology and innovation that they use, we want to understand the wishes of people, but we also want to speak about poetry. We want to speak about beauty, about heritage, about culture, about passion and love. And I mean, in our projects, we're trying to really reach the human beings in a different level. We are human beings, we're rational, as we said before, we're rational, but also irrational. And the triggering the irrational part of us, I think, is something very important in what we do in our project, the feeding our soul instead of our brain only. We did lately a collection for LAFA, which is called the New Classics. And New Classics, why is New Classic? Because of course it's a collection which is very soft, very classical in a way, very traditional. It refers back to, as you were saying, Christos, one of those grandmother little bowls that had the metal bowls with a little stand that you could only wash your face, right? And that beauty of that thinness. And then with the technology that the company gave us, we managed to reiterate that idea and that memory of all of us, when it was one of our common memories, into the collection of this beautiful thin ceramic. So basically the collection was an evergreen collection, a collection that speaks about something that was always there since generation, although it's very contemporary, very new because of the technological aspect. So even in the products that you design, we always try to infuse something that really is more speaking to the people on that level and not just in the functional level, because finally functionality needs to be there, but we don't per se get in love with functionality, right? We get in love with the most crazy things or irrational part of things. So functionality needs to be there, but you don't buy a chair because it has 4 legs. It has to have 4 legs. You buy it because there's something else that speaks to you. And this is in everything we do in design. And of course, in the bathroom area and in the collection, it's a bit more difficult because it's over extra function as to certification, as we were saying, and function. But I believe that there is a lot still space to do in the products and in the spaces of bathroom to really infuse that element of connecting with our souls. And we go back to the spa and the 5 senses and how to pamper our experience from the product itself to the space itself. I think it's something that we like a lot to do. And I think that's how we think design. Design.
I think so too. And we're going to go to our product watch pitch in just a few moments time. But before we do, I kind of want to hear from you, Nick, about what you're now currently looking for from bathroom products and brands, because it's a really congested space. Nick, you're on mute.
Yep. I think, and we touched on it before. I think we have to consider water, like Christos said, as something which is a very natural part of us, but it's also something which is very precious and will become even more precious. So the sense of sustainability, not just in how we produce ceramics, how we produce metalware, for example, which are, essentially heavy industries. I think one of the elements we look at is not just the elements of water saving, but it's how we can produce new products with new materials, which are also sustainable in their own right. I just had an email today from a company producing WCs in wood. It's something I've never seen before, and was just immediately caught my imagination. A WC and a basin actually made from a natural and sustainable material, and it really something which fascinates me, essentially, that we begin to look at not just producing ceramics in the traditional sense, but we now look at innovative materials and moving away from caustic elements, essentially. So something that saves water. I think we've all familiar with over many years now, but looking for new materials and new resources which are fully sustainable.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm not sure if we've got any wooden WCs in our
No,
product watch pitch.
I thought it was absolutely amazing to see it, and I just
It's
thought, well,
incredible, isn't
is that really the thing that's going to happen? But I'm sure it will. I'm absolutely sure it will.
Yeah. So we're going to go live to our product watch pitch now. We're going to be joined by our speakers in a few moments' time, but I'd now like to invite our product watch pitch partners, and if the speakers wouldn't mind just muting themselves, turning their cameras off for a short while, we're going to go live to our product watch pitch. And I think this is arguably the most important product watch pitch of the day, because as I said, bathrooms it's a very congested market. There's a lot going on. The pandemic has restricted us from going to trade events where we normally learn more about these products. So hopefully we can create a bit of a safe space where we hear all the latest products that are on the market. And I believe that we've got our product watch pitch partners now, and we'd like to start with Grower, who's our session sponsor. So Carl Lennon, welcome. How are you doing?
Hi everybody. Nice to see you all.
Brilliant. So Carl, your 2 minutes starts now.
Okay, so first off, unfortunately, no timber basins or WCs yet, but and we can put that in the product development plan. I'm here today really just to say hello and to share with you a new platform that we have at Grower, which essentially is a sharing platform, a digital platform that we've launched last month called Grower X. And we'll use this moving forward for educational programs for architects, designers around CPDs and so on. But more importantly, to sort of share the love when it comes to the work we do with architects, designers. We've got a short teaser video here, one of the projects that we supplied for Eric at Stilt Trampoline Paternoster. And we'll post a link to the longer version of this in the chat. But yeah, wanted to share this with you, and please do check out the platform.
We don't have any address. It's just coordinates in the middle of the ocean. You set your foot on this little magical island that actually is an amplifier of your senses. The brief was to reopen the home of the lighthouse masters. Water is everything. Without the water, you wouldn't be able to live there. Today you need one image that are representing the whole idea, the big idea, the emotional reasoning why people should be attracted. There is an image taken during a storm, the waves trying to eat the island, and you have the lighthouse and the little living quarter there standing still. If you show that image without any words to 100% of the world's population, 50% would say, I want to go there, or they will feel that I want to go there. I think you have to go there to believe it.
I just wanted to add that video was filmed by Cube, our production company today. And Carl, while you've got a few minutes left, I just wanted to add as well that obviously we were part of your inaugural launch of Grower X, and it really is a fantastic platform. They're calling it the Netflix of the industry. So I really do recommend everyone to check it out. Okay, up next we have Christopher Hyde, so Mark Lessieur.
Good morning, everybody. In our 25th year, Christopher Hyde has launched a stunning bathroom collection of wall sconces, a first for our company. This collection has captured the quality that encapsulates the Christopher Hyde philosophy. These sconces can be manufactured for normal installations or to the IP44 standard, allowing them to be specified in bathroom designs. Perfect for adding a splash of extravagance to those areas where fixtures require protection against moisture, but equally as suitable for adorning an adjoining sitting room or hallway. The simplicity of the design is emphasized by the unique mixture of color finishes available in one sconce. The Amalfi Light is a fine example of how two finishes, antique bronze and French gold, can be combined together. With 20 different finishes to choose from, you can be assured that your bathroom will have that added touch of originality. In a larger space, a chandelier from our cast brass Carlton collection, designed in antique silver with clear crystal drops, will definitely draw the eye upwards. The grandeur of such a chandelier will heighten your senses as the eye catches the refractions of light from the hand-finished crystals. Many of our classic luminaires can be manufactured to include the required ingress protection required for them to be installed in bathrooms. For those looking for a more contemporary design, the Naples wall sconce offers just that. The design is more simplistic, when finished with a mixture of plating options to create this unique sconce. Lastly, the Venezia range incorporates elements of nature with its intricate leaf design. The materials used in the wall sconce can create a biophilic effect within an interior space. Please feel free to visit our showroom in Chelsea Harbour to truly experience the effects of the luminaires in person. Thank you very much.
Very much, Mark, and I'm sure we all cannot wait to get back to Chelsea Harbour to see that space. And also, you've got such an array of products at Christopher Hyde, so it's definitely worth checking out the website for that. I'm sure you're going to be sharing the links in the chat as well.
I will. We look forward to seeing everybody at Design Week.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mark. So up next, we have David Balmer from Crosswater. Hi, David.
Hi, Hamish. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. We've just announced, as you heard earlier, the BritList Awards is back this year. You're our headline sponsor for the BritList Awards, so we can't wait to party with you in November. It's been a while.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Got a lot to make up.
Absolutely. Your 2 minutes starts now, David.
Good morning. As Hamish said, my name's David Balmer, Senior Consultant from Bathroom Brands Group. BB was brought together by two of the bathroom industry's entrepreneurs, David Hance and Patrick Riley. With the exception of tiles, flooring and lighting, we can supply all in the bathroom. We have 4 brands within our group. The most commonly known ones are Crosswater and Burlington, with Britain and Clearwater, the up and coming brands. Bathroom brands supply into the residential, office and hospitality sectors, supporting the architectural and design teams, as well as the contractor and main contractors. We have a separate specification team, internal and external, looking after the project from first discussions with the design team all the way through to handover and the maintenance team and beyond. Within Crosswater, we have various types of designs and finishes with matching shower valves, including the new Crossbox and the new 10mm shower glass Gallery and Optics 10. To add to this one-stop specification package, we have furniture and ceramics with WC frames and systems with matching flush plates. Within Burlington, a well-known traditional range, including tap showers, furniture and ceramics, colour plays an important part in traditional as well, including the launch of Bespoke earlier this year and only just being launched, the 1920s Riviera style. Britain gives us the opportunity to design with those tight budgets. It has the brassware, the furniture, bars and ceramics. Clearwater, mostly freestanding bars in different shapes and sizes in clear stone and natural stone and matching shaped basins. Part of our group's backup to you is not only our attention to detail, but our accreditations, keyword RAS are the main ones. Our guarantees gives peace of mind and our backup spares. Watch out for the new products coming out soon. And thank you very much.
So much, David. And as mentioned, the Riviera collection, we actually had the exclusive of that, that 1920s inspired collection. So head over to the website Hotel Designs and click through, or scroll for Burlington and you'll find that there. Thanks a lot, David. So next up we have John from Loughton. And John, worth just mentioning, obviously, with the new classics from oh, sorry, we've actually missed Street System. We'll go back to Street System. But John, in regards to the My Classics with Gabrielle and Marcel Wonders, that's obviously yours. So you're going to be talking to us about
just
that.
A couple of minutes to do that justice. I hope I hope I manage.
I'm sure you'll nail it.
Well,
Your 2 minutes starts now.
The new classic is a bathroom collection by Loughton, designed under the creative leadership of Marcel Wonders. Engaged to reinterpret classical styles using Loughton's patented Saphir ceramic material, every item included in the collection brings together the designer's flair and creativity with Loughton's mastery of raw materials. Loughton commissioned Marcel Wonders to create the new classic in view of the outstanding reputation he has established worldwide, with his unique style and innovative use of materials. The outcome is characterized by gentle feminine curves, reminiscent of the opening petals of a flower, alongside angular masculine elements. According to Marcel Wonders himself, for the first time, the ultra-modern Saphir ceramic has been molded into a classic and iconic form. This lightweight yet resilient material gave us the unique opportunity to celebrate the beauty of fine porcelain with our elegant, soft lines. While drawing inspiration from classical forms, Wanders was also eager to embrace a modern sense of style and a contemporary desire for functionality. His take on neoclassicism, expressed here in the New Classic, maintains a consistent focus on indulgence, intimacy, humanity, and everyday utility, while calling to mind the romance of bygone times. The freestanding bathtub forms an integral part of the collection. Among the irresistible arguments in favour of a long soak are its ergonomic back-friendly form and the skin-soothing material Centec from which it is made. Other range highlights include a crafted walnut stand with gently curved legs, compatible with the vanity wash basins. Both the wash basin and the elegant LED oval mirror push Saphir ceramic to the limits of its potential, creating pieces that are both modern yet timeless. In combination, the organic aesthetics of the ceramic elements and the rigorous geometry of the furniture give rise to a bathroom collection that exudes a cosmopolitan urban charm. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, John. And it's also worth knowing that we interviewed Marcel Wanders a few years ago, and he said that he sees design as poetry, which I thought was rather beautiful. And I also noticed in your pitch there was some walnuts. So actually the fact that we were talking about wood being injected into the bathroom, that's not actually too far off.
It's a beautiful collection.
It seems. Absolutely. Thank you very much, John. So we're now going to see a video from Schluter Systems.
Hello. My name's Danny from Schluter Systems. I work for Schluter as a specification consultant. I have over 25 years in the tile industry, half of that time as a tile contractor and half of that time as a product technical support role. Schluter Systems is a family-run business that has over 50 years experience within the tile industry. Schluter Systems also started off as a tile contracting business until 1975, when they developed their first factory to make their tile profiles.
Ditra Heat Duo is one of our most popular underfloor heating systems. The loose cable aspect of the system enables customized design, only heating the areas that will be walked upon. It's easy to install and reduces build-up by up to 10 mm compared to a traditional system, making it easily retrofitted and ideally suited for restoration and renovation projects. It offers a whole host of features. The thermal break reduces heat loss, so it's quick to heat up when your guests want that cosy warmth. The uncoupling properties of the system are really important to ensure that your tile or stone surface remains crack-free. Waterproofing is obviously important in a bathroom environment, and this system is a secure waterproofed assembly to give you complete peace of mind. The fleece underside also reduces the sound impact by up to 13 decibels, which can make a real difference to your guests' experience. The Elite Hotel, situated south of the River Thames, was an old grammar school converted into a 5-star hotel. As a retrofit project, Ditra Heat Duo was used to install underfloor heating where it hadn't been used before. Thank you for taking the time to listen to a brief product overview of Ditra Heat Duo. I look forward to perhaps working with you on a project sometime in the future.
Prime example, I think, of architecture and design being combined to offer innovative solutions for the bathroom moving forward. So our final pitch comes from Villeroy-en-Boch, and we believe we have Anna, who is available now. Hi, Anna. How are you doing?
Hi.
Lovely to see you. So your 2 minutes starts now, Anna.
Perfect. Thank you. So before we watch the video, let me introduce myself. My name is Anna. I work as a global project sales manager for Villeroy-en-Boch for bathroom and wellness. I'm absolutely happy to be here, and also happy to share with you, to show you the new flushing system from Villeroy-en-Boch, which is called Twist Flush, which helps you to keep a very high level of hygiene in the bathroom and also saves water. So let's watch the video.
Twist Flush is the new revolutionary toilet flushing system, which ensures exceptionally clean and hygienic flushing and is highly water efficient into the bargain. The canonically ultra-smooth bowl largely avoids soiling from the outset. The extra powerful flushing action deals with the rest. A controlled flow of swirling water flushes the inner surface of the toilet. generating a powerful vortex which effectively removes soiling and germs. The swirl of water is built up in a controlled manner with the aid of 2 nozzles, ensuring that the flushing power is generated just where it is needed. From now on, a single flush will normally do the trick. The brushless future starts here. To top it all, a family can save up to 19,700 litres of precious water each year. That saves money and is good for our environment. Twist Flush. More power, less water.
Thank you so much, Anna, and thank you to all of our Product Watch pitch partners, Grower, our session sponsor, Christopher Hyde, Crosswater, Schluter Systems, Laufen, and Villeroy and Boch. I'd now like to welcome back our speakers so we can start the second half of this session. And we're going to focus on now looking at colour, smaller bathrooms, and pitfalls designers should avoid. So welcome back, Gabriella, Nick, and Christos. Are you there? Do you want to just share your... Open your camera, unless he's walked away and made a cup of tea. There he is. Brilliant. So I think what's fascinating about that pitch is that it's a very congested market, as we've established, but each product is unique. And also we did see some walnut in there, Nick.
We did see some walnut. I'm not sure how sustainable that might be, Gabriele, but
well, yeah, it's not
it's a start.
everything
it's a
needs to be
progression.
sustainable, right?
Italian walnut.
No, it's one detail. It's one of the little pieces we did, which holds a basin, and this is beautiful remembrance again of these beautiful, romantic, poetic little stands in wood that holds one of the basin, because all the game was to make a contrast between very architectural and masculine shapes, so very square and sharp.
What I love about it, Gabriele, is it's the base, that stand in itself is a little jewel. And I think the way that the shape of it and the form of it in particular, if you're going to use a precious material like walnut, use it well, I would say.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's talk about sustainability then, because how important, I mean, let's talk honestly here. Sustainability is very important for the future of hotel design, and we put so much emphasis on sustainability, but will it ever hinder the creativity that is sheltered in the studios and when it comes to product design?
Well, sustainability is something we speak a lot about it nowadays. And of course, industry, the producers, the distribution, the materials used, everything should focus on that. It's not anymore a nice thing to do. It's something we have to do, and we have to focus in all the processes, in everything. Of course, there are a few things we also think in sustainability that I believe the good design is per se already sustainable on its own, because good design is meant to last forever, to last as long as possible, to last as long people love what you design. That's for us a first approach to sustainability, is that to design things which are well done, which are well thought, which connects again emotionally, as we say before, to people. I think that's one of the primary things that we should aim to. And of course, as also Nick was saying, a huge impact now for the future, of course, of bathrooms and products, I believe, and it's still a lot to do, is the water consumption. Is those tons and tons of liters of water that each day we use to just be nicely under the rain, which is great. But I think technology and innovation can bring much more smart ways to have the same feeling, effect, vapors, nozzles, or whatsoever that helps us to save water, which is the future goal of humanity, right? Just feel still that bathrooms and products are still a bit behind towards what technology and innovation today should be able to do in order to perform these levels of sustainability, for sure.
Absolutely. And I've just looked at the time. We're actually running out of time, which is really annoying. But Christos, I want to come to you next just to understand what are the pitfalls that we should avoid as designers when we're breathing new life into the bathroom?
The pitfalls? I don't know. I think we should really try not to make a space just for today. I do agree with what Gabriella was saying, that good design is something that lasts and it has an intrinsic value that takes it through. And I think as designers, we have to we have to try to produce valuable objects and valuable elements as much as possible by tapping into the spirit of the times, but at the same time going beyond and kind of understanding the essence of what it is that we always do. I do think that sustainability is a big thing today as well. If I can say a couple of things on that very quickly.
Yes, of course.
I don't foresee personally that we want to go to a bathroom that doesn't use or feel the joys of water. Whatever the technology is, I still want to be able to feel those kind of biologically, that closeness that we have with water. I think it's important, but I also think it's important to find ways to recycle. I'm pro recycling rather than pro reduction of consumption. There is a lot of filtration techniques and other things you can do on site, and in that sense, I think we can work in the near future to develop those kinds of techniques. Otherwise, I think the pitfalls is to keep moving, to keep changing, to keep innovating, to keep experimenting. I think that what keeps us on our toes, and all that hard work that we put does actually pay off, because in some ways it allows for multiple contributions. So rather than closing into particular fields, which is a pitfall, I think now is also the time to open up, to cooperate much more, to share, and to kind of continue experimenting.
Absolutely, and Zaha Hadid Architects is not, if not the queen of innovating and research and development, for sure. Nick, just really quickly, what about smaller bathrooms? Obviously, you mentioned European hotels, urban hotels, where space is obviously at a premium. How can designers inject personality in awkward spaces?
For example, the double-tree in Rome that we designed, the bathroom, the average bathroom size there is about 4.5 square meters, which is effectively the minimum size for a bathroom in Rome. Again, all of these have got various standards against them. And I think in terms of all the choices you make, like Gabriela said, when we invest our time as designers, we're always looking to add value, to make a difference, to seek out that guest experience, and to kind of to navigate through that storytelling idea of the hotel. So, for example, in the DoubleTree in Rome, we injected other finishes. We hung the mirror with the leather detail, which we picked up also in the wardrobe. So we kind of reinforced the design of not just the guest bathroom, but the guest bathroom was navigating the story of the guest room, of the lobby experience, and kind of completing that storytelling. And as a designer, I guess if you're designing your own bathroom for yourself, what do you do? What do you choose? It's really a personal choice. As a hotel designer, we're trying to navigate that very personal story of the location of the hotel, of the history of the building, of the storytelling of the brand itself. I mean, that's I take it from our perspective. So that's what that was the first touching point that we visited for the actual room itself.
And Gabriela, from a studio that's constantly looking at the future, where do you see bathroom designs heading in, say, 10 years time from now?
That's interesting. Oh, that's it. I mean, I see spaces which are seamless, smoothless, which brings us into an environment that the space can change with tiles that change colors, because in the morning the bathroom is something, the evening can be something else, with something which is technologically smartly hidden but simple, that supports us. I see things which is nanomaterials that can make the surfaces clean themselves without having us to think of. I see products that are really hidden and part of this experience of architectural. It's like being in the womb, back in the womb of the belly of your mom, right? Where you really have an experience which suits you, and technology needs to do a lot of steps and innovation in materials and lighting and the 5 senses and all this. I think I see that this kind of magic space coming together.
It's really interesting. Well, guys, we're out of time, unfortunately. I just wanted to quickly mention before I thank you guys that the next session starts at 12:30. And that session will be on art outside the frame, where we're going to look at unconventional ways in which we can portray art and branding throughout the hotel design narrative and the journey. So join us back here at 12:30. Katie Phillips, I believe, is sharing the link in the chat. But lastly, I'd like to thank my amazing speakers, Gabrielle, Christos and Nick. Thank you so much for helping us discuss that. I feel as if you all came at this topic from a different angle, and it was just really insightful, actually. And the story will go live in the next couple of weeks, so look out for that. But
Nice.
until then,
Right.
see you at 12:30. And thank you so much, everyone. See you
Thanks,
then.
Hamish. Speak soon.
Thanks,
Take care.
Hamish. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Christos, Nick.
Bye-bye.
Thanks all.
Bye-bye.